states, Jesse? Is that it? What is it?
Yeah, it's right in that range, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's 15.
So states. 15?
Yeah.
15. Okay, there you go. Brad Ganser joining us on the show. Welcome back there, buddy.
Hey, it's great to be here. I can't wait to see the results tonight. This is going to be fun.
There you go. There's already a couple of results in. MAGA Jesse, reading your comments. What else are we going to be talking about tonight?
Yeah, that's right. It's a Super Tuesday episode, and so we're going to be going over a lot of the interesting Super Tuesday results, including our very own Minnesota. So we'll see what the results end up coming to be. You know, I think, obviously, we already know Trump is going to crush Nikki Haley in Minnesota. He's crushing her everywhere, except the swamp, except for Washington, D.C.
She did win one, yep.
That's the only place that she can win is when the establishment, the absolute worst swamp creatures in the world, are the ones voting. That's it. But we're also going to be talking about the Otter Tail County dilemma, where are they going to be trying to remove delegates off of the voter rolls again? We'll talk about that. Michelle Obama, Big Mike, says she is not going to be running. RINO Karin Housley has signed on to a gun control bill. And then we'll give some updates on the Never Again bill and some new signers.
This episode is brought to you by Alpine Cabinetry in East St. Cloud. If you're looking for cabinetry, give them a call. Also, Warren Wessel of Warren Wessel Realty. Do you know Warren, by the way?
I've met him.
Good guy.
A couple times. Yeah, great guy.
Are you looking to sell or buy a home soon?
I wish. My wife doesn't want to move.
Yeah, that's fair. If you are, give Warren a call. His number, 612-419-7453. I almost have that memorized, okay? Said it enough times. 612-419-7453. Just got to give it a quick glance there. You want to give Warren a call. It thinks like you, and he's a good real estate agent. He's my real estate agent. There you go. Isn't that great? Also, if you want to join us anytime in the comment section on Rumble, we're also broadcasting on our new YouTube channel. Not on Facebook. You didn't put it on Facebook. Okay, we're not on Facebook anymore. Screw Zuckerberg. William Beck, by the way, new father. Young William is a new father as of Sunday, I think it was.
Teddy,
yeah.
cute kid.
Theodore. And he told me today he thinks he's kicked off Facebook again. And the last thing he shared was a picture of his kid. I mean, it's just terrible. Like,
you know, I was having some trouble with Facebook earlier myself. You know, maybe I heard that there was like a mass problem going on around the country where people were having trouble logging in and getting back into their accounts. So it might be a widespread thing, but I don't know. Maybe they're targeting William again. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, they did wipe him off the internet. Join us in the comments section if you want to interrupt us anytime. Rumble Rant, and make sure you like and subscribe on this show. We don't have you in the comment section now, making sure.
I know. I feel like I need to throw you a 20 just to get on your good side.
Yeah, that tip that you left me at the bar. You know I deposited that? I did. That's how honest I am with
Claim
money.
your cash.
Yep. All right, let's go right into the results. Pull up. We're going to be doing the NBC Live Tracker. It looks like results in Virginia and North Carolina already been called. Trump is the projected winner right now in Virginia. There's 48 delegates at stake. By the way, I should have started with this. If you don't know what Super Tuesday is, it's a conglomerate of like 15 states. I'm taking Brad Ganser's word for it, okay? Why would he lie to me about 15? He might be, but I don't know. I should fact check this. But
you should always fact check me.
Is it you're not so certain?
I'm not as much as I was when I said
I'm
it.
checking it out.
You do that. Okay.
We'll find out.
They all have presidential primaries the same day, Republicans and Democrats in those states. It's 35% of the Republican delegates are selected tonight and 36% of the Democrats. So it's actually a pretty big deal. One would think Birdbrain Nikki Haley would get out of the race after tonight because she's not going to win anything. She won one primary race, Washington, D.C. And by the way, it was 100% called, and there's only 2,010 votes. That's all the Republicans in Washington, D.C. That's crazy. All right, Trump projected to win Virginia. 38% votes are counted. He's got 65 to Haley at 33. This all follows the polls. North Carolina, 74 delegates at stake. Now, there's only 3% votes in. Trump is winning 70 to 27%. So they've already projected the winner. You're just going to see this because
yeah, but that's a neighboring state to her home state of South Carolina. And, you know, go ahead and scroll up there a little bit, Dawson, because the Vermont primary is getting a little bit closer. But obviously Vermont, small state, they got a RINO governor. The RINO governor came out and endorsed Nikki Haley, Phil Scott. So there's a little bit of momentum in Vermont for Nikki Haley. They're pushing her pretty hard. As you can see up there right now, it's 52, 44.6. So
Do you
that's
think?
obviously
Do you think Haley can win some? You think she will?
No,
win
I
something
don't
tonight?
think she will win Vermont
That's the
or anything.
closest
I
one?
think she's going to, right. That's going to be the closest one, followed up by maybe Virginia, just because it's that left wing, elitist type of states anyway. I'm sure Massachusetts she's gonna do better than she's going to perform in somewhere like Tennessee or something. But Vermont is her best chance because like I said, there's a lot of Democrats who are going to be swinging over voting in the Republican primary because they want to oppose Trump. And the voting in the Democratic primary is almost useless in almost all of these states. Even when you vote uncommitted, it's useless in a lot of states because they won't even count the delegates after for that. Some states are different. You have to go state by state to understand the rules of it. But Vermont is going to be an interesting one to continue to follow. And I fact-checked you here, Brad. There is actually 16 states that are up for Super Tuesday.
Well, does that include, was it American Samoa or something?
Well, there's 15 for the Republicans, and let's see here, 18 for the Democrats, because, right, it includes American Samoa for the Democrats, Democrats abroad, and the Iowa Democrats are holding their caucus today. The Republican Iowa caucus happened way before. That was a whole battle between the DNC and Iowa, but that's why Iowa is holding their Democratic caucus today.
So how many? So go back. So how many states are in the Republican one?
15.
Oh, so that's what you were alluding to. You were right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't care about the Democrats. That's rigged.
Yep.
Like, the Democrat one is rigged. Let's just be honest at this point. Like, God. Have we not learned from Bernie in 2016 that the Democrats rigged their stuff? I mean, it's not going to be Biden in the end. We'll get to the story about Michelle Obama, but, I mean, I still think she's probably the one. Because she's saying right now, oh, well, I don't plan on running. I'm fully behind Biden. Until Biden has a health emergency, it come sometime this summer, right before the convention, and Michelle Obama reluctant. Listen, we love the reluctant leader. That's America. Look at cinema. I mean, Mel Gibson has made a career off of being the reluctant leader. In Braveheart, he didn't want to join the resistance. In The Patriot, which is Braveheart during the American Revolution, he didn't want to join the resistance. He reluctantly got pulled into those things. America loves the reluctant leader. Michelle Obama's a reluctant leader. I don't want to do this. Listen, I'm all on Biden's team. Oh, here comes August. Well, Biden, he's got a health scare and he had to drop out. We can't leave this country not led by someone important, someone with name recognition and the same infrastructure. And that's the call for Michelle Obama. That's my opinion. By the way, Gavin Newsom, who was the one guy that I thought I might be wrong on my call. Have you seen the story about him and Panera Bread? This is the most hilarious. You don't know about this?
No, I don't know about this.
Oh, this is so funny. So he signs a bill. He pushes through this legislation, signs this bill in California that basically requires minimum wage at all fast food restaurants, but there's a little provision there taken out for restaurants that bake bread and bagels and some other thing don't count. So there's literally, and they're chain restaurants that bake bread. So essentially when you look through all the chains in California, there's only one person carved out of it. It's Panera Bread. And that person is that owns a big a bunch of the restaurants.
Yeah, he owns a bunch of the locations in California. Big time donor to
Gavin Newsom. It's wow, it's that's not by accident, right?
Yeah,
the big bread, sure.
And it doesn't even sound like it's just political. It sounds like these guys were friends and business people, before Gavin Newsom was ever governor. And the California legislature is equally to blame for this thing because I don't understand how these Democrats, they just fall in line, they vote how they're told to vote. And especially on something like that, you would think that they'd be questioning, hey, let's read into this bill. Why is there this exemption? It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
Because the Democrats are top down. There's no grassroots left in it. I mean, the only grassroots is the people that, and this is happening in Minnesota right now, and we'll see how it pans out in the results. There is this what's it called? The Uncommitted movement. My wife got a text this morning from Uncommitted Minnesota, or whatever the hell they're called, saying don't vote for Joe Biden. She, trust me, she wasn't going to vote in the primary in general today, but certainly not the Democrat one. But she's on some list, and then probably segregate it because she's a woman, and they think there's a higher propensity chance she's a Democrat, right? Because she's a woman. And it's that's the fringe grassroots movement on the left. But they get shunned out of the party. We're going to talk about it. I see some in the comments how the Republican Party, certainly under David Hand in Minnesota, are about just as bad as the Democrats. We'll talk about this in Otter Tail County. Let's go to some of the comments here early on.
Yeah, I'm seeing Pamela K. Jones says, good evening.
Good evening, Pamela.
Tucker91, congrats, William.
Good to see you, Tucker.
Facebook was down. It was on the news. Seekers Unite said, came to hear the discussion about Otter Tail. Great to hear the grassroots showing up in strength.
Wait a second. Let me look at that picture. Is that Eric? Is that?
Looks like it. Eric Van Mecklin.
Good to see you, Eric.
Looks like it. And Dave's right. Says the GOP is scum. And Napkin 8 says Gavin Newscum. Pretty good nickname for him there.
It's a good one. I like that. Gavin Newscomb. Yeah, boy, that really rings or flows off the tongue. Mm-hmm. Gavin Newscomb.
I thought for the longest time it was going to be Gavin Newsom, and I saw this steady trail of articles that were trying to reframe how bad California was, but then I did see today that he's at his all-time low on his approval rating, so he might be getting nudged out.
It's a tricky one. I mean, he's the cookie cutter that you want, the chameleon of politicians, but oh man. And we forget about this. Like a lot of people that watch this show, you guys are probably, Gavin Newsom is. I get it. You probably political nerds like us, right? Political operatives, but the average guy doesn't know who the hell that guy is. So that's the problem the Democrats have, is the longer they wait, the less chance they're going to get that name ID up for the November election. That's why Michelle Obama is the candidate, because she's got instant name ID. It's Michelle. It's not Michael. Stop saying that, man.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful woman.
We don't know.
We do.
We don't know that.
Danny Nadeau is a man. I don't understand you, Jesse.
Yeah, maybe.
Not saying it.
It was the funniest one ever. I was like, where did that come from? So I think she's a beautiful woman. Let's pull up that story real quick, Dawson. I'm sorry to go out of order here, but because it's got a picture of Michelle Obama, and she's basically saying she is not running. Okay, look at this. Bring that up a little bit. Jesse, that's not a dude. It's a good-looking woman.
If you say so.
That's a good-looking woman, isn't it?
It looks like it.
Brad, is that a good-looking woman?
I 100% believe Michelle Obama is a woman.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm 100%.
I am.
You got to check the undercarriage to know for sure. There is a political commentator. I think you know the name of this person, and it was on Timcast. It actually tricks you. It's hard to actually call it a he because it really looks like a woman. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. I can't remember.
It is like it's amazing. Like you think it's a woman. Everything about that person. That one's
Blair White.
Blair White. There you go. Mm-hmm. Pull up a picture of Blair White real quick, Dawson. I might be regretting this decision. Yeah, Tucker says you can never say 100% these days. Well, you can with Chris Lee Finke. That one's easy. Michelle Obama says the former first lady will not be running. Oh, sorry. Michelle Obama's office is the former first lady. See? Right there. That's a dude. You kidding me? That one's the trickiest one I've ever seen.
Wow.
Well, you know what? Honestly, as long as you're not grooming children and indoctrinating other people and telling us all you got to call by your pronoun, I honestly don't give a shit. Whatever you want to do. I think it's weird as hell. That's just my personal opinion. But a lot of people think I'm weird. You know what I did over the weekend? Went backpacking the Spear Hiking Trail alone because it warmed up to the 30s. So, some people think I'm a weirdo, Brad.
You're right.
Razzle Dazzle's joining us. Good to see you, Razzle Dazzle. Number 207 at primary. Terrible caucus turnout in our BPOU. Yep. Napkin Nate, good to see you. Am I forgetting anyone? Look, I love our people. We have the best people. Former President Barack Obama said he's all in for President Joe Biden's re-election effort. But a question nagging at many Democrats is what role his popular spouse might play. Democrats nervously looking ahead to November say they want to see Michelle Obama playing a bigger role in the campaign. Some even whisper about the possibility that she might replace a politically hobbled incumbent on the 2024 ticket this summer, making her a fantasy candidate for members of both parties, albeit for different reasons. Supporters of the Republican frontrunner Donald Trump have fixated on the notion that Obama's swooping in to replace Biden in an attempt to diminish the president's political viability and stoke the GOP base. Okay, so this is according to First Lady's office. I guess when you're a First Lady, you have an office after. I don't know that. And this quote, as former First Lady Michelle Obama has expressed several times over the years, she will not be running for president, said Crystal Carson, Director of Communications for Office. Mrs. Obama supports President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris' re-election campaign. Right now she does, okay? I mean, I don't honestly don't give a shit about what you say right now. There's going to be a health scare, right? That's what's going to happen.
Right. That's the thing. She's not planning on it now.
Right.
Could she be planning on the future? Maybe. I don't know. But, as of now, it does seem as if the Democrats are really going to push Joe Biden unless he has, some heart attack or something, because a lot of these Democrats, even at the grassroots level, are docile. They don't really care. They don't want Joe Biden, but they're not willing to do anything to try to fight him because they don't want to get out of line. They don't want to cause problems within their party. The Democrats might be dumb enough to nominate Joe Biden. They did it once before. Why would we think they aren't dumb enough to do it again? They love to have a puppet in there. They love to have someone who just keeps the machine going, and Joe Biden is the perfect candidate for that.
I got an update. There's 43 delegates in Oklahoma. Trump is projected winner with 4% in. That is a 77 to 20% Trump over Haley. So Oklahoma is now projected for Donald Trump. Trump has got a clean sweep going for the night. It's going to happen. Let's just be honest. He's going to get a clean sweep, right? You don't disagree with that, Brad?
I'm worried about Minnesota.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
What do you? Well, I know what you're smoking. A legal substance, by the way. Legal. Well, actually, so is marijuana now in Minnesota.
I think Minnesota's got a lot of problems.
Because the Kristen Robbins of the world get a headline? That's not... Trump is going. What's Trump going to do? 60% in Minnesota?
Oh, I'm thinking it's going to be more like 70-30.
Do you want a friendly bet on this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. And with the low turnout, though, you're probably right. The people who are most loyal to their guy or gal are going to be the Trump supporters. I don't think the Haley voters are going to show up. So I amend my statement because I just don't see how.
I was just shocked that you would even
that's
think
the thing. She only came one time. She gave one little speech. So how much has she actually gotten ground support moved, in Minnesota? Probably not very much. I mean, she just has the de facto anti-Trump RINOs that are going to vote for whoever is running against him in a primary.
You want to say something, Dawson? I didn't mean to call on you with your voice, but
I don't want to say anything.
You don't want to say anything. He's a little under the weather. I totally forgot to introduce Deep State Dawson, the guy running the dials. You kind of have floated under the radar today just because, you weren't even talking the first half of the day.
Right. Yeah.
Some sickness.
By design.
See, Pete, Minnesota's in trouble time to get a blue roof.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but I heard a few different reports, and I went in about noon, and the numbers at my precinct in Maple Grove were abysmal. Normally when I go in, there's 300-400, and I was...
Wait, hold on.
You're saying for your caucus?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the primary.
For the primary today.
Yeah, but let me hold that thought. Trump takes Tennessee, 58 delegates Tennessee. He's winning 81% to 16%. That's 4% in. So Tennessee's now projected to go in Trump's category too. No big shocker here. We got to go to the Democrat results as well tonight.
Yeah.
This is the second presidential primary in Minnesota. The other time they did one was in 2020. So very skewed results in that one.
Yeah.
Wait a second. That still would have been before COVID, though, wouldn't it? When was Super Tuesday? Super Tuesday in... I think it was March 1st.
That was before COVID because
but no Republicans wanted to go anyhow because Trump didn't have any real challengers.
Yeah,
so.
just in general, it just seemed there was just no turnout. And the folks that I talked to...
I know, but you're saying you're not comparing to anything because 2016 we didn't have a presidential primary.
Well, just the elections.
Yeah, well then that's not a shocker. I didn't go vote today. Why would I go vote in the primary?
You didn't go vote
No,
today?
why would I care about the presidential primary?
because it's our president.
You voted today.
Yes,
Jesse.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Jesse.
I voted for DeSantis today.
Did you really?
No, of course not.
No,
I just wanted to tease Jesse.
Let's talk about.
I know there's plenty of, not plenty. There's definitely a handful of people that voted for DeSantis. I mean, to me, it's one of those things. He came out, he endorsed Trump. Obviously, DeSantis has some hurt feelings still, but it is what it is. He understood when the time was to walk away. It's unfortunate that some of his supporters don't understand it, but that's okay. They can get their 1% and be happy with it. But yeah, that's definitely the way that it goes. Once they're out, they're They're not getting nothing.
Read that most recent comment there, Jesse.
Let's see.
Gosh, Jake is such a movie star.
I don't know how to say that. Showgrensis. I don't know. My grandson just watched a bit and said Jake looks like a guy from the movies. Wonder which guy you're talking about.
Right there. Which one is it? Who do you think it is?
Dumb and Dumber.
Let's see. Yeah. Hold on. We got a rumble.
Harry or Lloyd?
We got a rumble rant here. Napkin 8 says $10 rumble rant. Thank you very much. I thought education was fully funded. Why are districts crying about shortfalls? Exactly. That's what the Democrats claim, that this is going to fully fund education. They never gave a definition of what that actually means, of fully funding education. All it really meant was, handing more money off to their cronies and special interests and people that wanted to benefit them.
Wasn't that a proper rumble rant? Totally got us to a different subject.
Totally.
Way different subject. That was good. Mm-hmm. And a very good point, Napkin Nate. Okay, let's go to this Otter Tail County story. This is so fascinating. Pull up truthhurtsnews.com. By the way, lots of big changes going around here. This is truthhurtsnews.com. What a wonderful website. Zoom out just a little. Go to the top there. That's what looks like at truthhurtsnews.com. Okay? Actually, click on the main logo up there so people could see the main page. Everything you need to know is right there on truthhurtsnews.com. Okay, let's go back to the story. Ben Affleck's Big Bro. I have heard that one. You know where I got that one a lot was at basic training when I had a K-pot on and probably a lot skinnier. All right, this is in Otter Tail County, Minnesota. If you don't know where Otter Tail County is, way northwestern Minnesota. Fergus Falls, Perham, northwest of Alexandria. Actually, isn't Alexandria in Otter Tail County? Yeah. Yeah, you'd know. You're from that northwest. Grassroots conservatives are rising up across the state of Minnesota to take politics out of the hands of swampy Republican do-nothings and return the power back to we the people. One of the most active spots in Minnesota where this is happening is in Otter Tail County, a rural county hours northwest of Twin Cities. I love the people up in Otter Tail County. I love these people. I mean, we do, the secret event that we do here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First one, our longest travelers were from up in Otter Tail County. So we talk to these people all the time. Great, great people. You know when I talk to you. I don't need to mention your name here, but maybe you guys are watching or in the comment section. We love you guys. Okay. So they organized big time. Last year, Action for Liberty reported how the establishment in Otter Tail County threw out 33 duly elected delegates. They were so pissy that delegates, get this right, delegates decided they didn't want to support the establishment's choice, who got the endorsement. So they voted for another person who was challenging him in the Republican primary. Okay, say what you will about that. It's their choice. But throwing out delegates who were duly elected for that reason. By the way, we know legislators, people in the party that do this all the time. So they're not being fair at all. They're just, once it's a conservative grassroots person, well, then we'll throw you out on that. So they threw out 33 duly elected delegates last year. It was a blow to the local conservative base. But when they had caucuses this year at February 27th, by the way, if you're not from Minnesota, you're watching from a different state. We're a caucus state and a primary state. But caucuses determine who gets endorsed inside the party in Minnesota. So it's a pretty big deal. And Otter Tail County is in Congressional District 7, which has a challenge to Representative Michelle Fishbach. Steve Boyd, we've had him on the show, right? Good guy. I like him. Mm-hmm. Have you met him?
I did not. I didn't
nice
see
guy.
the. I didn't see that show.
One of us. So there's two locations. This is how they did. They had a location in Perham and a location in Fergus Falls. If you've been to a caucus before, like if you go to my BPOU, basically my Senate district, we break out in classrooms, and each precinct's in a classroom, and then each precinct's got a convener, right? What they did is they had this big like cafeteria, one person convening. No one could barely hear this guy because it's a big noisy cafeteria, and at each table is supposedly the precincts. So in Perham, these conservative activists wanted to remove, and the guy who was doing it was Tommy Miracle, an establishment hack. They want to remove him from being the convener. Now, it's their right to do that. The law says, the party chooses a temporary chair, which is the convener, and temporary means you can be replaced. You're not the permanent chair. So they removed him by a vote. This is what I love about it. This is from a couple sources, all right? 183 to 39. Somewhere in that range, that much of an overthrow, like the power of the grassroots stepping up, 183 to 39. What is that, like 5-1 or something like that? It's a lot. So they got rid of Tommy Miracle. They installed their own person to convene the caucus. Then they noticed that the local party, and this happened both in Perham and in Fergus Falls, they had these registration forms. Pull this back up, Dawson. They're blue registration forms. This was sent to us, and you can see where it's X'd out on that right side. It had some specific rules that people were like thinking was fishy, that they were going to try to get people to get thrown out of the process later on by signing this thing. It wasn't the official form of the Republican Party. So, and those happen to be orange. I don't know if they were always orange or they just printed orange ones up there. So essentially, a bunch of people going to the caucus were like, we want these orange forms, which is the official party one. And the Otter Tail County leadership was like, no, you got to use the blue ones. So this big contention broke out between, both locations, between the establishment and the grassroots people, both in Perham and Fergus Falls. We're talking about 400 or 500 people total between the two places, and getting into shouting matches and stuff like that. What ended up happening was a bunch of people signed the orange form, or the official GOP party form, and it turns out the MN GOP is starting to weigh in on this. And it seems like, and you knew about this, Brad, they did this emergency meeting last week. David Hand and Anna Matthews, the political director, I think they even went up to Otter Tail County, probably to meet with the establishment cronies up there. And they're right now debating decertifying all delegates in Otter Tail County. So not just the 33 delegates that were kicked out of a convention last year, like everyone that went to caucus, they want to decertify the people that were elected as delegates. Like, under what authority do you have? Like, can you imagine the gross abuse of power? Now, here's the interesting thing. This thing's got a really easy solution. The big contentious issue is the blue form versus orange form. Well, guess what? Accept both of them. It's very simple. They're both very acceptable forms. Last I checked, they're precinct caucuses. They get to determine how to govern their precinct, right? Not the party, not the local BPOU, the precinct caucus. If you ever want to change politics starts at the most local level, which is literally the most local level in terms of a political boundary is a precinct. And so they get to determine their rules and push it up as long as they're following the state statute. What is that? Section 202A. That's the state statutes governing caucuses. So everything was done right. But apparently the Republican Party and David Hand are trying to get rid of these delegates. And if they do, and we'll stay on top of the story because we don't know where this is going to end up, but we've got word that they apparently have all the delegate forms right now. And they have been talking, and this is actually a quote from the Fergus Falls, what is this? The Fergus Falls Journal. And they quote Anna Matthews, the political director. This, quote, this new convener who was elected by the caucus didn't follow the appropriate legal requirements for the caucus. So essentially the whole thing got messed up and devolved from there. And then she alluded to uncertainty if the delegates alluded to uncertainty if any delegates were elected on caucus night in Perham. Or in all of Otter Tail County, I guess. Now, here's the other big thing. This is where it comes into play. If you just remove all delegates in Otter Tail County, right, which the establishment's probably fine with because they realize they're never going to get elected to the congressional district, because when you take over 183 to, what was that, 39, something like that? 183 to 39, yeah. I'd say the conservatives are going to win all the delegate spots. I mean, to me, it looks like they're just trying to protect Michelle Fishbach. Like, assuming they all go Steve Boyd, but, you know, that might be a fairly good assumption. Let's go to the comment sections here. I'm sure a lot of people want to weigh in here.
Let's see here. Sjogren, I'm not saying that one. OT.
Sjogrensis.
Okay, if that's how we're saying it, I'm not going to get that
right. It's a consensus of Sjogrens.
Otter Tail County BPOU needs to read the law in the MN GOP Constitution. Says David Hand and Anna Matthews also need to read the law in the party constitution. They're destroying the party. Patriot for Life 4444 says Hey, Jake, what would you consider central Minnesota if you consider Otter Tail / Alexandria as northwest Minnesota? I'm actually in northwest Minnesota, 40 miles north of the Canadian
Isn't that
border.
a Minnesotan thing to say?
Totally.
Yeah.
I always considered Otter Tail and East Battle Lake, that whole area. I always thought that was northwest because it's northwest of us.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like this is the funny thing. The masses of people live in the Twin Cities metro area. It's like what, 6 million, something like that. No, not 6 million. What am I smoking dope? 3.5 million, I think. The whole population of Minnesota is like 6 million. Yeah. So it's like 3.5 million, something like that in the metro area. More if you go into Wisconsin. So it's like I literally will say Duluth up north, and then people are like, Duluth? That's I know someone that lives like literally right on the edge of the boundary waters up in Ely area, and they always talk about going south to Duluth. It's just such a funny thing. So that's a Minnesota thing to say, Patriot for Life. Is it's not northwestern Minnesota. It goes up a lot further than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like literally, what did he say? Roseau? Is he near Roseau?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 40 miles from the Canadian border south of Roseau. Mm-hmm. And then if you get like to the far Kitson County, like we went up to see Jane Moss at the Boardwalk Bar and Grill during the shutdown protest, and she's up in East Grand Forks, and they're still a good 40 some minutes north of her.
Yeah, what are they, about 90 miles? 80 or 90 north of Fargo.
Yeah, they're even people think Fargo's out there. Actually, most people think Fargo's in Minnesota because of that damn movie, which is a good movie, by the way. There you go. I was corrected. Yeah, very fair point. What else we got here, Jesse? We got statutes being. Yeah, there you go. I think I have an idea who Sjogren is, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Otter Tail proves why all MNGOP meetings should be recorded by the people.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this story here is like, it's almost like the establishment was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like they were almost pushing these specific Otter Tail County forms just so in the event that, a large amount of patriots are there to take on the establishment, that they can say, oh, well, you guys didn't fill out the correct forms.
Yep.
It sounds like they were just, creating a loophole, a back entry into being able to kick people out. And it is unbelievable. You're talking about eliminating every single delegate and every single caucus attendee as if they don't matter, as if it's unimportant. It's such a scam, and
And how can you do that? They got elected at the precinct level.
Right.
Who are you to say the precinct can't determine their delegates?
Mm-hmm. Right. Obviously David Hand shouldn't be involved. The state executive committee shouldn't be involved. The CD7 executive committee shouldn't be involved. And it sounds like even the leadership of the Otter Tail BPOU has been corrupted in a lot of ways. And, so there's so many problems within Otter Tail County. They need to retake that local BPOU among patriots, because what's the purpose of having a Republican BPOU if it's just going to do the bidding of the RINOs and the Democrats?
And they are called precinct caucuses, right? That's the convening is the precinct. Here's the thing. If you have a corrupt party, what's the check and balance against a corrupt party? People can organize at the lowest level possible and go up the chain. So just think about how corrupt that is to stop it from the top down. So this is the thing we argue about the Democrats. The Democrats are terrible at this. They don't give a shit about you if you're a grassroots person. But the Republicans, the David Hands of the world, we're accusing this guy before he's actually acted, so we'll stay on top of the story. But let's be honest, there's already precedent. They've done this to 33 delegates before. So if they do this, we'll make all holy hell. Now this is something you're not going to get anywhere else. Okay, let's dig into the campaign finance records of Otter Tail County. This is so much fun. This is, you see under the blue forms there, Dawson, I got a hyperlink. This goes to campaign finance. This is little rural, Otter Tail County. See reports and data. Click on that. And then that's going to pop up the 2023 end of year report. Let's click on that. Now, Otter Tail County, wonderful small county. Scroll all the way up to the top. I don't know why it went there. Rural, I'm just going to preface this with rural Republican Party units generally raise what, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000? You're effective in your What's your Maple Grove?
In Maple Grove, we usually have raised, on a cycle, 10 to 15,000.
And you guys are probably a little more connected in the metro. Okay.
Yep.
This is Otter Tail County, and they raised last year, so not even an election year, they raised $24,000. Sorry, $25,000. Now let's scroll down. This is who gave to them. keep going down. Right there. Starting with lobbyists, Chaz Anderson. Next one, lobbyist, Jeffrey Anderson. You look like you do have an employer in the area. The next one, lobbyist, Joel Carlson. Keep scrolling down. You'll find the Fager, is that how you say it? A Minneapolis political fund, Fager Drinker State. What the hell is that? Fager Drinker?
I don't know.
State Political Fund, Minnesota Craft Beer Pack, Minnesota Hospitality Pack, Minnesota Independent Insurance Agents Pack, MTA Pack, Minnesota Power Action Committee, which is actually based in North Dakota, North Star SFA Pack, Optometry Pack, Rural Electric Political Pack, Stinson LLP, so Law Firms Fund, Weber Johnson Pack, $19,000 from all those itemized. So a bunch of lobbyists and special interests are donating to this rural Republican Party unit. And so I'll tell you what, I've seen this before many times, by the way. This trick, this happens. It's a little pool of money. And by the way, I'm not alleging any illegal activity. I think this is actually fully legal. They're just bundling money to give to their, buddies and stuff like that. And in the case here, their legislator. But when you look at their expenses, the number third one down is Diane Johnson, wife of Brian Johnson, State Representative Brian Johnson. She just happens to be usually the treasurer on all these reports. Everywhere we've seen this. Isani County, not anymore, by the way. Morrison County, not anymore, by the way. But all these times where you see these little rural BPOUs that are getting these big influxes of cash from like PACs and lobbyists, Diane Johnson's fingerprints are on it. So hilarious. All right, anyhow, if you scroll to the bottom here, go back to that, go to Schedule B2, Dawson. You're not going to hear this from anyone else, right? This is what we do. B2, keep going down. Oh, go back up. That's where it shows Diane Johnson right there. See, she got paid $300 for accounting services. She is an accountant, I believe. By the way, she's a 6th alternate in her BPOU on caucus night. Mm-hmm. All right, next one down, Schedule B2. Jordan Rasmussen got a total of $6,000. Now, that's their state senator, but I have to ask you this question. Actually, wait a second. That's interesting. That's really interesting. They gave $4,000 to Jordan Rasmussen's House Committee and $2,000 to Senate Committee. That's actually really what. He's not a House member anymore.
Mm-hmm. Was that the year he went from House to Senate?
No, this was last year.
Yeah.
What are they doing giving? I didn't even catch that before. Why would you give to his House Committee?
Well, when you close a House
committee. They're giving to both, right? They're giving to the House and Senate.
Direct money in certain directions when you close the account.
Yes.
And I don't remember the exact
But isn't that
rules.
interesting? They're bundling money from lobbyists and PACs to give to basically an irrelevant account because the guy's not even a House member. He's a senator.
That's because they want to put it somewhere.
Yeah. But it's
when
like,
he closes
shouldn't you be like supporting the candidates for office, right? That's what this is, direct contribution to candidate committees. That's literally a dormant candidate committee. Okay, anyhow, the point I'm trying to make, Jordan Rasmussen, last I checked, isn't the endorsed candidate for the next election. Why are they giving money to the, we don't even know if he's going to run. I assume he is, but he's not the endorsed candidate. Mm-hmm. So now let's imagine a Nathan Miller or someone else decides they're going to run against Jordan Rasmussen in 2026. You just bundled money to the Senate candidate ahead of time and gave him an unfair advantage. And by the way, it's not even coming from grassroots money. It's coming from lobbyists and PACs. By the way, I'm not saying it's illegal. I think this is fully legal. Ethics, I don't know about that one. Seems a little unethical. All right, next one. They gave $12,000 to the HRCC. That's the House Republican Campaign Committee. These are the same people that were supporting Mark Bashofsky's opponent. They spent $30,000 against Eric Mortensen in the past. They often work against grassroots conservative endorsed candidates. Do you know anything about that there, Brad Ganser?
Seen that happen once or twice.
All right, well, that's anyhow. That's if you don't believe the good and the bad in this BPOU, the Otter Tail County GOP, who's running the show, that's what they're doing. Just listen. Usually people have like chili cook-offs or like little fundraising events. They're bringing in lobbyists and PAC money A lot of it from the Twin Cities to like rural Otter Tail County, and then bundling that money to their buddies.
So where we're at in Maple Grove, I've been on the BPOU as a vice chair for over a decade. I don't know if we've ever received a check from a PAC or a lobbyist.
Well, let's do that. Go back to that page there, Dawson. You see there's a search party unit. That'll be fun. Let's do this. Let's do this live. Oh, let's finish this up. I don't want to get off this topic. Go to that search bar. No, not there. That search bar on the top where it says enter name. What's your district?
37.
Type in 37 in there. 37 RPM. It's the second. There you go. Click on that. So this is Brad Ganser's hit reports, and there you go. Click on that.
That's not my report, is it?
No, it's not. That was funny though. Go all the way to the top. I don't know why it opens on the expenditures in yours. Okay, so this is we're doing this live here. Kevin Moxness is your
Yeah.
Okay, scroll down. Keep going. You guys only raised $2,320 last year, which, by the way, sounds reasonable. Probably mostly convention fees because it's a non-election year. Scroll down. Is there even a reportable itemized? Let's see. John Bristol, go back. John Bristol and David Osmek. Why did David Osmek give? Oh,
Closed his campaign?
yeah, but is he in your district?
No.
Why did he give it to you guys?
He's a friend of some of the local folks.
Okay, there you go. The rest were non-itemized, so small donors, $13.20. There you go. That's what a normal. That's what a normal PPOU looks like right there. And you guys are like, there's way more money like down in Maple Grove area than there is up in
it's West Metro. We go all the way out to Independence, Medina,
yeah,
Corcoran.
like there's big industry, big money.
To be fair, we're having a better year this year.
Oh yeah,
We're raising more. Yeah.
yeah, but still, it's like, no lobbyists and PACs on that, right?
Not that I've seen in a long time.
There you go.
That I can think of.
Let's go to what do we got here?
Let's see. I'm not sure if we do have any new comments here.
Crucified 1993.
1993. A couple of the donors you were not aware of who they are.
I don't know them. Yeah, I can't pretend like I know everyone, but it looks like they're going to give us some info. So
looks like it.
I'll wait on that. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I don't want to shit on some just regular donor. They might really believe in the cause and that literally thought their money was being used for good things. So I mean, I don't know.
No, and to your point though, I don't think they're doing anything, inappropriate in Otter Tail. It just
I think it's inappropriate.
Well,
I just think it's not illegal.
They're not breaking any.
Right.
Yeah, not breaking any of the campaign finance rules.
Right. Yeah. It's just
But
like it's clearly
is
open.
strange.
They're bundling
It
money.
does seem strange that you have these random little counties and BPOUs that are sucking up a lot of that lobbyist and PAC money.
Right. I would be like, wait a second, guys. Who's financing our Republican Party here? Like, what? Like, it's not us. I'd be like kind of curious why a bunch of lobbyists are funding our Republican Party unit. That seems to be
Maybe
a
they
big
love,
deal to me.
Is it they love fishing in Otter Tail, or
It
are
must
they
be.
riding their snowmobiles up there? I don't know.
Ellen Arvig Communication, one of the largest independent telecommunication companies in the country. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Is that someone trying to? All right, whatever. Let's go to Arkansas.
Well, actually, I mean, we might want to look at Vermont because last I was looking, it looks like Nikki Haley's taking the lead from Trump in Vermont.
What?
So we're going to want to check that out for sure.
Vermont, yeah, Nikki Haley is down by she's by 20 basis points. There you go. 37% expected in. Nope, Trump's he's trending up again. These are live results. Arkansas called. 40 delegates goes to Trump. Trump's got 79%. Nikki Haley's got 18. And we're not closed in Minnesota yet, so you won't get results there. Trump, right? It's funny. Texas has got 40% in. Trump's winning 75-20, but they haven't called Texas yet. I think they're afraid to call Texas because that's 161 delegates.
Yeah, and Texas also has a U.S. Senate primary going on today. And man, I wish there was someone challenging Ted Cruz because I mean, I've had enough of Ted Cruz. Like, haven't we had enough? He pretends to be this constitutionalist. It's all an act. It's all for show. He doesn't obviously care about the Constitution. There's so many examples of his voting record, and it just goes to show that a lot of these guys are phony and fake. And especially with Mitch McConnell now stepping down, he's going to retire as the majority leader. Or the minority leader in this case.
In November.
Right, November. I know. It's like, why not now? I'd take it now. So obviously.
Well, Jesse, I
Yeah.
I lead the country.
Yeah. Followed up by your freeze. And,
Well,
But exactly. But that's the thing.
Crazy
they
guy.
say. There's three main people who are trying to take over that leadership now: John Barrasso, John Thune, and John Cornyn.
yeah, give me a good one though.
And exactly.
God,
I know.
Jesus, the worst.
None of them are good. So I mean, it's pretty.
Might as well give me
pathetic.
Mitt Romney if you're gonna give me all those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the joke? They're so full of shit they need 3 Johns.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Mike Lee and Rand Paul seem to be the only ones worth any. Well, you know what? You got
J.D.
Vance
Vance
now too.
Josh
I guess.
Hawley. There's a couple of people who they could maybe consider.
Hawley, yeah, he
it
doesn't
would be
vote that
nice
well.
to get someone kind of younger. Like the Mike Johnson. I mean, why not Mike Johnson? Make him the leader of everything. But
Wait. He can't be the Senate majority leader. He's
I'm sure there is probably constitutional provisions and everything.
That's a
preventing
step
someone,
down.
but,
the Speaker of the House is a bigger position. They're in line for
yeah,
presidency.
maybe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Maybe he doesn't want to
He's
do
like,
that,
I got to
but,
get away from this.
But
This is a crazy one.
I don't know exactly who they could consider that could actually get the votes that because think about it, there's only 50 of them or whatever it is, 49 of them. I mean, like you'd think that you guys can come together, find someone who the American people wouldn't hate. Because I look at someone like John Kennedy, who we agree is a complete RINO, who isn't going to fight for us on a lot of things, but what is the ultimate job of the majority leader or the minority leader? It's to be the representative of the party. It's to make the points on the talk shows. It's to go out there and be the face and the brand of the Republican Party. John Kennedy, all people are ever going to know is he's funny. That's all people are going to know.
They're just going to know him from his committee hearings.
Exactly.
What I don't understand here is,
Yeah.
can a man be a woman?
Yeah. Am
No,
I
no,
allowed
I'm asking you a question.
Yeah,
That's
there's
his
that
whole.
one.
That's his whole shtick.
Oh yeah, there's that one where he's.
You like my impressions tonight, Brad?
You're doing good.
But yeah, there's that one where John
There you
Kennedy
go.
goes.
We're political nerds on this show. We watch too much politics, consume it. We know the Mitch McConnells of the world, and then John Kennedy's go. Sorry, I'm interrupting
Yeah, no,
you too
I was
much
just gonna
tonight.
say he also was in one of those committees saying, can me and my wife take cocaine? Can we take cocaine in our
I remember
house?
that one.
And so there's a million of them. But that's
Show
the
people
thing.
your shirt, by the way. Just show people how fun we are. Look at that shirt.
I mean, I don't know how to show them.
I just stand up. Can you stand up? Look at this. This is
Political
great.
party.
Political party with
Yup.
red solo cups.
That's right. Our founding
great?
our founding fathers like to have fun too. I mean, I can't imagine
They
these were a bunch of
distilled whiskey.
stiffs.
Yeah.
There's no way. They had fun.
Jefferson and Washington were distillers. I mean, Samuel Adams had a brewery. Of
Yep.
course, those guys had fun. And by the way, that beer was probably more potent back then.
Maybe there's no FDA to regulate them or anything like that, or whatever the food one is. But I don't know. But it should be.
You gonna read that comment?
Which one? Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm kidding. This should
Oh
be the
yeah.
thing. Rumble
now,
rants.
now
Rumble
now
rant
let's hear
request.
the Robert Kennedy impression. Yeah, that's
Rumble
that's,
rant request for impressions. I've never tried. Oh shit! I can't even think how he sounds.
Yeah,
I-
it's
can
really
I rumble
scraggly.
rant to make you
so
not?
scraggly and he's talk.
Can I
That
rumble
that
rant
almost
to make you
sounded too
not
powerful.
do an impression?
you gotta.
What's that, Dawson? I can't hear you.
I said, can I pay you a rumble rant to not do any more
Oh my
impressions?
god! What a hater.
Dawson's current voice would probably do Robert Kennedy really good.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Junior.
Mm-hmm.
You should read about the eggnog riot at West Point. Ha ha, Tucker says. I feel like I have heard about that. I can't think about it right now. It's got me stumped.
Yeah, and you know what? Another result that's kind of interesting that I'm looking at here, Dawson, go ahead and Google the Oklahoma Democratic primary results, because this might be the best I've ever seen out of Dean Phillips. And Joe Biden is only at 73.7% of the vote in Oklahoma. So that obviously proves that a decent amount of the Democrats in Oklahoma, not a state that necessarily matters all that much to him, but as you can see there, it's that's a pretty decent amount of support that's detracting from him. It looks like that's his worst performing state right now for the Democrat primary so far. But, it goes to show that not all the Democrats are happy, and that's a state where there is no uncommitted option. So a lot of them feel the need to vote for, one of these other people that are listed on there, whether that be Dean Phillips or Marianne Williamson or any of these other jokers like Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur, he made it on Minnesota ballots. We'll see how many What
do you think? I'm gonna say 57.
57 votes?
Yeah.
Oh, total in the entire state?
Yeah.
So you're saying like 0.1% is what he's going to get?
What do you think Cenk Uyghur's getting?
Yeah, I'd say, a little more than that, but
what do you say?
I don't
Let's
think
throw a number out there. You know,
1.5%.
Do you know who Cenk Uyghur is?
I do.
Yeah, the Young Turks.
I want a number. I don't want a percentage. Give me a number. I'm going
1.5%.
with 57. I'm going
with
57. What are you saying?
157.
157. What are you going with there, Jesse?
Oh, man, I'd figure it'd be a little more than that, even,
Trump takes Maine, by the way, 70% to 25%, 21% in. So right now, if you're following it, Virginia went Trump, North Carolina, Arkansas, Maine, hold on, let me finish, Oklahoma, Tennessee, all in the projected category for Trump. So they've got Trump right now on the ticker at 438 total delegates to Nikki Haley's 46.
Mm-hmm. But, I'm looking at, when you look at NBC, it says that Trump is in the lead for Vermont, but when you look at it on Google, it has Nikki Haley in the lead. So, it looks like that one is back and forth, probably too close to call. And, it's interesting. I was thinking about Vermont because there was a Republican primary there not too long ago. I'd say maybe in 2022 or maybe 2020, but there was some kind of race where it was a statewide race where the Republicans were given the option between like a MAGA Republican and a Rick Scott or what's the governor of Phil Scott, the governor of Vermont, or the former governor of Vermont, total RINO. So I just lost my train of thought. What I was saying? The MAGA candidate won is what I was going to say. A couple of years ago, they had that kind of test, and the MAGA candidate won. So it showed me that even in Vermont, that the MAGA candidate is still likely to win the primary in most cases. We'll see, though, because, the Democrats have obviously decided to get involved in the Republican primary to vote for Nikki. Nikki is she's only backed by Democrats and a small number of RINOs.
We are 7 minutes away from the polls closing in Minnesota, and I would imagine we'll get this called pretty quickly. Jesse, you're the one that said let's follow the NBC tracker. I got a question for you. Where the hell's the Democrat tracker? This is interesting stuff.
I know that. I was noticing that too, because this has a lot of the good Republican ones. If you scroll down on the NBC one, it does have some Democratic ones listed out there.
Where does it?
Good format, like right there.
No.
Democratic presidential primaries.
Yeah, but you got to click on a different link.
Right, exactly. That's
Scroll
what I'm saying.
all the way to the top.
This
is interesting. So this isn't fitting the narrative because it's embarrassing to Biden, right? They love the fact that Trump is, got a challenger, and their narrative is Nikki Haley. 30% of Republicans are rejecting Donald Trump, and it's like, yeah, but Biden's getting, run for his. Well, I shouldn't say run for his money, but he's losing in the teens to Uncommitted. Right. And they don't want to show that tracker because if you scroll down, they only show the Republican primary results.
Right, exactly. And I'm thinking the exact same thing as you because I'm thinking the Democrats and the media doesn't want to show how bad Joe Biden's doing. And, if they had to put a map up like that, then it would, people would be scrolling over and saying, hey, look at that, 15% for Uncommitted and whatever. So I think they are trying to cover it up a little bit because they don't want people to know there's other options in the Democratic primary, and they don't want people to even really be paying attention to the Democratic primary because they just want to force Joe Biden and maybe do something at the convention to change it up.
Exposing corrupt politicians, lying corporate media. That's what we do here at The Truth Hurts. By the way, we tell you the truth, no matter how much it hurts. Crucified in order to be a delegate of state. Well, we going back to that story here. You must pledge to support all Republicans. That's what it is. That what it said? In order to be a delegate to state and the CD7, you may not have supported any candidate that was not endorsed by the Republican Party in 2022, and you must pledge to support all Republicans in 2024. Do as I say! Yeah, what if a Republican sucks, though? That's the question. What if they suck? And by the way, who are the Republican Party in Minnesota to try to tell someone they can't be a Republican? Have you noticed you got a problem? You're not winning a lot of statewide elections.
Right, I know.
You haven't won since 2006. I think you probably should open up your arms to people. And by the way, it's always one way. like a conservative who doesn't want to vote for a RINO. That's the problem. But you got a bunch of RINOs that say, I'll never vote for Donald Trump. They aren't going to have a problem with that one, you know? There's literally the former minority leader in Minnesota literally told Mark Bashowski, I don't care if Eric Mortensen loses his race to a Brad Tapke, to a Democrat. He literally says, we don't care. Like, these assholes, they literally, I mean, that's what a RINO is. They don't really care, Republican, Democrat. It's just about being in power. Let's go to this story. Speaking of RINOs, Karen Housley. We haven't had a chance to talk about this on the show. This came out Thursday, way after our show. Karen Housley's on a gun control bill. You know about this? You didn't know this?
I didn't.
Oh,
I just saw it
boy.
I saw it on
This
the
is
ticker.
her. This is at truthhurtsnews.com. Follow along if you want to go to our website. This is Karen Housley, like back in 2019 with Moms Demand Action. She got a little bit of heat for doing this. But, you know, basically nothing compared to what she just signed on to. She's on a gun control bill. And this is like, I know a lot of you guys have heard about this. This is the safe storage bill. Okay. This is what it literally says in the bill. And this is Karen Housley, a Republican. A person who owns or possesses a firearm shall secure the firearm when it is not in direct physical control of the person as follows. 1. Unloaded and equipped with a locking device, or loaded or unloaded in a locked firearm storage unit. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, does she have any sense of what gun owners do? Like, to protect themselves? Like, who the hell is the government to tell us how we store our firearms? Like, if they can get, you know...
It's a weird thing. Obviously, she must be big on gun control. There's obviously got to be other things that she supports because this is such an odd, weird, tiny, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, this is a subsection of the gun issue, you know, so if she's in favor of this, there's a lot more there. You know, there's obviously a lot more issues where she wants more government control, especially when it's an issue this dumb, like the safe storage shows she doesn't understand the issue. She probably, you know, maybe her family just, they're not gun owners. Maybe she just hasn't been around it. I don't know. Because you look at a law like this, it makes no sense. And especially coming from a Republican, you know, she should know a whole lot better. Makes me think that she knows that her time is done.
Yeah,
After skipping the transgender vote and now pushing gun control, she's done absolutely nothing for the Republican delegates that voted for her. And, you know, she should be ashamed of herself.
Yeah, like how Tucker says, wait, Robert, I need to unlock my gun safe. You got something?
Yeah.
I thought that this was already what the law was.
Nope.
Wasn't it?
No, it's a ridiculous law.
So, just so I know that you had that unfortunate boat accident, so I really feel bad for you.
Yeah.
But did this get a renewed push because of the Burnsville? Isn't that what the Burnsville shooting?
No, this was part of their agenda, and quite frankly, Burnsville would have nothing to do with this, right? By the way, any of the gun control, because
I thought I had read somewhere along.
Well, the talk
some
of
of
gun
the renewed
control,
push for
the general talk of gun control followed the Burnsville tragedy, which is sad for those that don't know.
Horrible.
2 police officers in Minnesota and a first responder killed by a maniac, who luckily died also that day, right? So the Democrats never let a good tragedy go to waste, so they used it. We're 1 minute away from the polls closing in Minnesota, by the way. So, no, this is actually a little bit more interesting. I've been noticing in the last year, I'm sure you've seen this, there are billboards popping up about storage of firearms. Have you seen these? Have you not seen these?
not.
You've seen them, Jocelyn? Yeah, I've seen them in the metro area in particular, but I think I've seen them south of the cities on 35. And it's like, that's interesting. Who's funding these things? So I actually think it's been a big push. And if you want momentum on a bill, you make that thing bipartisan. So this is what Karen Housley just did. She just gave a big win to the Democrats. Now they could go around and say, this is a bipartisan bill. And it's ridiculous. What's your comment, Dawson?
I was just gonna say I drive past one of those billboards on my way home from the gym, and it's just like an unlocked drawer and a kid reaching up into it. I thought that you had to keep your guns in a safe already.
No, but there are negligence laws on the book. So if you're negligent in storing your firearms around kids, then that's already prosecutable.
Is that what's getting laid out?
Well, they add that to it, but right here, I mean, this is literally verbatim, and you could see this at Truth Hurts News. It just says a person, doesn't say that they have to have a child, person who owns or possesses a firearm shall secure the firearm when it is not in the direct physical control of the person as follows: unloaded and equipped with a locking device, or loaded or unloaded in a locked firearm storage unit.
Yeah, but and this was what they had, tried to push in the public safety omnibus bill, right? SF 2909, where they ultimately did push the red flag laws and the expanded background checks, but they pulled back on the safe storage bill. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got a lot of bills that they're going to keep resurfacing. By the way, just so people understand, this isn't the first time this has happened. Scott Jensen, who ended up getting endorsed as a Republican gubernatorial candidate in Minnesota, signed on to the universal background checks bill back in, what was that, 2016 or something like that? No, probably 2017, 2018. Mm-hmm. So, and that was the same thing. Now, he apologized. You were at the stake.
To be fair, didn't he say it was a mistake when he wanted to be endorsed?
Yeah,
for
you kind of wonder where Scott Jensen ends up on these things. Where's the stance on abortion now, right?
Oh yeah, he was going to flip flop. I mean, I saw it coming. There was no way that he was going to be in favor of gun control and then change his mind. Come endorsement, and then he's going to stay consistent with that. Give me a break. I always kind of knew Scott Jensen was never going to be a good governor. So it's almost glad we dodged that bullet. But I mean, we're stuck with Tim Walz, which is obviously even worse. But I don't think that Scott Jensen was the kind of a freedom champion that a lot of people made him out to be. I thought, this guy's a slimy RINO that's getting away with this, and he's masking himself as if he's one of us. I never saw it.
We might have a guest. Can we do a Zoom, Dawson, if we had a guest come on?
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to send you a email here. That's the thing about Truth Hurts is we have fun here. We fly by the seat of our pants. It's a hang, right? All right, Dawson, I'm going to send you this email. Send Zoom link. We might have a special guest come on the show and talk politics with us. All right, we'll see. He said send me the link. It'll be fun. I'm not going to say who it is. Do you want to guess?
I think I can guess. America.
Is that obvious? Proposed state bills by both parties stepping up these discussions on Truth Hurts next week. Yeah, buddy. Buddy 036. Criminals don't follow the laws. That's right. They don't follow the laws. Let's go back to our tracker here, which is
and I found another tracker. Dawson, go ahead and check out this one from Axios on line 8 there.
Texas has been called for Trump. That's 161 delegates. I mean, obviously. So that puts Trump at 606 total delegates. Massachusetts called for Trump. And polls are officially closed in Minnesota now. So we'll start getting results in Minnesota. The counties that got their shit together. So Trump's got a clean sweep right now. And in Vermont, let me get an update on Vermont. Mm-hmm. By the way, we're not going to stay here all night for Alaska's results.
Yeah, it looks like
Vermont, Trump's got
up.
3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trump is barely up on for Vermont. And yeah, that one, it would be a little bit of a bummer if Trump doesn't win Vermont. But I mean, it's obviously not a state that's going to be in contention for the general election. So it's almost irrelevant. But I mean, obviously, we want to see Trump get a clean sweep here tonight, and I don't think there's any huge worry. I mean, Nikki Haley. The big question is whether she drops out after this. I think no. I think she's going to wait until Trump reaches that 1,900 number, whatever it is that he needs of the RNC delegates, because I think she's going to hang in there until the very bitter end. I don't see her dropping out. I don't see her getting behind Trump right away. She's going to do it on her own terms.
Why? But why would she do that? Because eventually no one's going to come to her
she's got to think she's taking a principled thing. I mean, in her mind, she must be thinking, that's the thing. We had talked about this before. If Trump had called you what he had called Tom Emmer, a globalist RINO, it's one of those things that, like, if he had called me that, and I thought it wasn't true, and I thought, screw this guy.
Is there a guess?
I would almost say, it doesn't necessarily matter. If you have a chance of winning, and she's probably in that spot too. She's saying, I don't care about winning.
She can drop out and not endorse him.
I know, but she's feeling like, it matters more, and
She's
going to
stick around as long as the money keeps flowing.
But the
Yeah.
money's not going to flow. That's the problem. Even the Koch network said we're not going to put any
Some
money
of her
behind
big
it.
donors have pulled out, but do we know where the other money's coming from, or if it's all dried up?
Well, we should know where the money's coming from. It's regulated by the FEC.
Yeah, I mean, I think
What are
part
you saying?
of it.
They're slipping money into the
No, I'm
table
just
there, Brad
saying,
Ganser?
well,
Breaking news here on Truth Hurts.
How long is
Nikki Haley getting money
How long
laundered
is-
through her
how
account?
long is the
By the way, it's
reporting
probably
delay?
Ukraine money. That's it.
It could be.
You're
It
on to
could be.
something.
You're so full of it.
10% for the big gal.
What is the reporting delay though on?
It's monthly, I think, on presidential campaigns. I
So
wanna
we
say.
won't know for a month or two that money slows down.
Guess. I mean, yeah. I guess I think it's monthly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a. I should probably know this, but I don't.
You really should know this.
I really should know it.
Show
Been
prep.
observing politics for 20 years, and I don't know the answer to that question. I'm pretty sure it's monthly because you hear that stuff so frequently.
Well, wouldn't they have
Sure, we could
major
ask Google.
donor requirements for faster reporting too?
Say that again.
Don't they have major, like large donations? Don't they have to report?
I
is
don't
that
know
as
the
you
answer to
get
that question
closer?
too. You putting me on the spot there, Brad Ganser. I don't know. Did I say Alabama called for Trump? 84%, 50 delegates there. Just seeing if there's any updates. Right now, the ticker is Trump 606 delegates, Nikki Haley 46. DeSantis has 9. Ramaswamy's got 3.
Yeah, no, I think I saw something like, what is it, 33%? Like around a third of the RNC delegates are up for grabs tonight. And yeah, I'm seeing Billy 22.
That's a good one.
Nikki will still be campaigning as Trump is being sworn in, and that could end up being the case because some people are saying Nikki Haley's going to run no labels. I don't know if that's the case. Dean Phillips obviously wants that. Dean Phillips wants to be Nikki Haley's vice president. He's out there saying, let's run a unity ticket. Go ahead, because I don't know a single honest Republican that would actually vote for Nikki Haley and Dean Phillips. So I think all they would actually be doing is taking away, more likely than not, Biden voters. So I encourage them to get in the race and run as a third party because it just is something that, it just means that those RINOs aren't going to vote for Joe Biden. I'm fine with that. I don't mind.
Hold.
We good to go?
Before we bring our guest on, I just tweeted out, Dawson, can you go to our Twitter? Can you pull this up? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go. We can bring that up with our guest. Joining us live from an undisclosed location in St. Paul, Minnesota, we have Mr. America. How you doing there? I have no audio with you.
Yeah, we can't hear you,
What are you
Nate.
doing? You got your thing muted? Oh.
Can't hear me, huh?
No, we can hear you now. No, we can hear you. Please, we can hear you. Don't say.
Are you sure?
Yes, I can hear you right now.
Okay.
Boy, I was a little worried he's gonna be like throwing down like the F-bomb here soon. I mean, this is a family-friendly show.
After the day I had.
Why? What kind of day did you have there, Senator Wiesenberg? From
Oh,
the
it's a
Duck
long
Dynasty
day.
crew, by the way.
It was just a long day. I was on Ox this morning talking about the Never Again bill, and that was good. Let people know that if their representatives didn't get on when Walter first sent out the email, it means that they're not fighting for freedom. They're only getting on the bill because they were pressured to do so, and they only care about saving their own ass. So.
All right, there's a straight shooter. Let's bring this up, Dawson. Go to Truth Hurts News, line number 13 here, so we can give people a visual. There are a bunch of authors getting added to the Never Again bill. By the way, thank you for sponsoring that Never Again bill, which was written by Minnesotans, people who were resisting COVID tyranny by Governor Walz, who unilaterally declared an emergency, shut the whole state down. Scroll down here, you're going to see a link to... You can go to truthhurtsnews.com to get the story. HF 4257. Click on that. That's going to show all the authors on this bill. And you can see there's currently 32 authors. What Wiesenberg's alluding to is you see down here there's actions. So on the 28th of February, Fogelman, McDonald, Myers, Anderson, Mueller, Heintzman, and Davids all got on the bill. By the way, Heintzman and Davids both have endorsement challengers that I'm aware of. On the 29th, Perryman and Olson, Bjorn Olson got on. And then March 4th, Ron Krisha. I mean, Ron's like the biggest RINO in the whole Minnesota legislature, is he not?
No, he's not. He's just a Democrat.
Yeah, but he runs as a Republican. That's what a RINO is.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I think all these guys are worrying about their future in politics. So, hey, good for them. Get on this good legislation. Now we need roll call votes. Are you guys going to send your ass again? Because that's what they do. They don't give you roll call. They don't put their hand up, say, I want a roll call vote on this stuff. So what else is going on in the Capitol with you?
Well, we had the flag rally today. It would have been nice if more people showed up, but I read what the Star Tribune said, and the one thing they left out is hardworking Minnesotans are working, so they can't show up at noon on a Tuesday to say that their voices aren't being heard. So that's why we were there, is to let people know that your voice should be heard, and you did not get to vote. So that was our message. It still is the message. If the flag is going to change, it needs to go to the voters. So we had a flag rally.
And this was Tony Jarowski, I think, was the organizer behind it. Worked with Rocks and Cows, Minnesota.
Yep.
Good.
So Rocks and Cows put it on. We had speakers. I spoke. I let people know that as an elected official, I'm your servant and I work for you. I don't work for the government. You tell me what to do, and that's what we do. And that's what people forget is, you elected me to be your voice. And too many people forget that. They get here and then they just become friends with the establishment, and money gets involved and they do what they're told, and they never listen to their folks that elected them again. So
right on. Do we have can you pull up our Twitter account? I want to give a status update. Do you know which one that is, Dawson? At J Duesenberg. We have a new Twitter account, which is actually my old account, started in 2010. I'm going to start tweeting again. Well, I mean, listen, it's a much more free zone these days. So
fake news.
Total fake news. There we go. Let's see here. We've got not a good night for this. Can't scroll up there, Dawson. Have you guys seen this one?
Yo.
Isn't that great? I love that one. I actually saw that on Sunday, and I took this long for me to post that one. You're the first legislator in Minnesota to endorse Donald Trump, and I think you're one of only two so far. Am I right?
Yep. So, that was kind of fun because I guess the Ox had Donald Trump on yesterday, so they wanted me to follow him up. So that's good stuff.
Humble brag.
Yesterday, I gotta do it sometimes. No one else is gonna say it. So
certainly not Jenny.
Well, yeah. So yesterday I just posted this on my senator page, Senator Nathan Wiesberg page. So in education policy, we were talking about comprehensive sex ed. And the one thing I didn't hear, I heard a lot of, we should teach kids how to have safe sex and we should teach kids how to have sex, but we never said we should tell kids not to have sex.
Eesh. So
I said, I never heard the word abstinence. It's not in the bill. Nobody said it. Nobody said we should practice abstinence. And then a couple of minutes later, Aaron McQuaid came on and said, well, we shouldn't be telling our kids not to have sex. Kids can have sex whenever they want. That's who's making laws for education.
But what does she know? They just scissor, right?
Oh my God. I didn't say it. So.
She's a lesbian. That was the joke there. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Brad's there?
Yeah, Brad Cancer.
Holy crap. How much you have to pay him to come on?
Nothing. He's a fan of the show. He pays us. He does the Roma rants all the time. My God. We bring on the haters.
I even tip, right, Jake?
You did. He came to the event. He gave me $1 tip for my bar service, which I was probably the worst bartender ever. I lost that damn cork in the wine glass.
So today I had another thing that happened, which is interesting, frustrating at the same time. I had a bonding bill come from Grant Housechild, and
Democrat up
he said
up in the Ely area, Iron Range.
Yep. So he's like, well, this was sent to me, and I don't know why it was sent to me. So it was a bonding bill for Ron Krisha, because I won't sign on to it because it's increasing taxes and increasing spending, and it's not sewer and water and roads. It's for something that we can't afford right now. So while Ron's increasing taxes, I just introduced a bill that's going to cut everybody's taxes. So I won't sign it. So he's sending it to Democrats, stabbing the back. So Grant sends it to me. I get it, and I'm kind of pissed off because we can't be sending bills to people that are outside my district for bonding. Send them to me. If we're not going to sign them, we're not going to sign them. So while he's increasing taxes and trying to waste your money, I'm trying to give your money back. And
but Nate, we have to fully fund schools. You understand, right? They're not fully funded yet. Wallace fully funded them last year, but they're not fully funded. We need more fully fund them. They're not fully enough.
Well, I also have a bill that if you are a parent with school-aged children, you can get a tax credit for what you give to the state for public education. So my bill started off saying everybody who doesn't like public education could opt out and not pay in, which they told me isn't going to fly, which is true. So I said, let's change it. If you are a parent with kids who are school aged, and they're not going to a public school, you can get a tax credit for the amount that you pay in for public education per student. So that this year, that would be $7,000 a piece.
Nice.
So I did get people to sign into that. That's, been dropped. Is it going to go anywhere? Probably not, or not. It's not going anywhere, but that's what we're trying to do.
We've been talking about another bill of yours here recently on the show, and this is on truthhurtsnews.com. You sponsored a bill that would eliminate the bottom income tax rate, the marginal tax rate, which is 5.35%. And so what that does is it basically means anyone that only pays up to $46,000 taxable income, they don't pay any income tax. Yeah, 25. It's saving the $2,500. Everyone else still saves that $2,500. Plus, you opened up the limits too, so it actually saves people at that level. I like the bill. I'm just a pragmatic person at this point when it comes to it. As long as you're allowing everyone to get the tax benefit, I don't care how you tackle it. It does technically make it more progressive of a tax, but it still gives everyone a tax cut. Why I wouldn't talk about this bill if it wasn't for one factor on it. It literally has a Democrat on it. You got John Hoffman. So what's the chance that this thing could get some momentum?
Well, Ann Rest says that if she has a bipartisan bill, she will hear it in tax committee. I haven't heard back from her yet if she's going to hear it. I'll have to go talk to her. I guess I haven't talked to her yet. I'll have to do that. I guess usually, you send a bill, if they're going to hear it, they let you know, we'll hear it. I haven't heard that and I'm busy. So I need to go talk to her, say, I want to hear this bill because you said if it's bipartisan, you'll hear it. So Hoffman's on it.
Well, I mean, of course, Nate, of course they would want to hear this bill and pass this bill because it helps the working family, right? Isn't that the people paying the lowest marginal tax rate?
Well,
don't they support the working family?
No, come on.
By the way, Colorado called for Trump 61% to 36%. He is on the ballot in Colorado, by the way, now. 48% of votes in Colorado. How did they get Colorado counted before us?
Yeah, and the votes are just starting to come in for Minnesota. Trump is in the lead big time over Nikki Haley.
Bigly?
75% to 22.7%. So,
your fears have gone away there, Brad.
I think it's already over and we don't even have a percent in. So we'll see how the rest of the night goes.
But hold on. The big key thing is, does Cenk Uygur get more than 57 votes? And I say no.
Right now he's at 0.
He's at 0.
So we'll see on that one.
All right. What else, Wiesenberg? What's going on at the Capitol?
So we were talking about the tax bill. So if we can get it passed, everybody's taxes are cut. So now that we have Democrats on board, they either get on board with us and say, look, we passed taxes, we're helping everybody, or they don't get on board, except for one, and then we can still say, look, we were going to cut taxes for everybody, and you didn't do it. even though that's what you say you want to do. You want to help working people and low-income people. That bill will do this for everybody. So do it.
Well, and what I find interesting about it is we learned we have a $6.6 billion budget surplus. The government's holding on to a freaking $3 billion of our money in a reserve account, a rainy day fund that they didn't even tap into during COVID. So what's the rainy day?
Yep.
What's the rainy day that you're looking for? So give that back.
Rainy days today.
Yeah, it's today. Help us out, right? Well, when you break that down by the $2.4 million or 2.4 million taxpayers in Minnesota, that's about $2,500. Your tax cut, your tax bill pays for itself just by the surplus alone. Let alone.
Some will ask, well, how do you pay for it? Well, the Democrats just bought themselves a new mansion or castle, whatever you want to call it. That was $1 billion. How much does it cost to send that train from the Twin Cities to Duluth? And then what are they doing in this in the light rail? We just put up, you can't defecate on the light rail. You can't have sex on the light rail. You can't do drugs on the light rail. Those are things that we should be putting on a train.
Right.
So you think they're not going to be doing the same thing if we build that train to Duluth? It's just a 2.5 hour ride back and forth, and people are going to live on it.
All right.
Same thing's going to happen.
I got a difficult question for you, but you're kind of known as a straight shooter, although I've never been to the gun range with you, but how would I? I don't own any firearms. Lost in that tragic boating accident. So you got a member of the Senate caucus right now sponsoring a gun control bill. What's that like right now with all the Republican senators? I mean, is this being talked about?
Yeah, so we brought it up, and apparently they said they're going to take their name off the bill. So
Karen Halsey's taking her name off the bill?
Yes. It's not going to show up till Thursday because we don't go back to the floor till then. So
that's just great.
But,
so why the hell was she on that bill?
it depends on who you believe. So what I was told is Rob Dorr went to her and said that the sheriff's union or the police like it, so put your name on the bill, and then we can try to make it better. I actually kind of do believe that because of what they did with what's his nuts last year, who won against Mort.
Razzle Dazzle asks, have you emailed or called her, Jake? No, she's not my senator. She used to be. Now I've got a terrible senator, Judy Seeberger. So yeah, I'm just south of Stillwater. I'm not actually technically in Stillwater. I just say Stillwater. It's like when I grew up in Onalaska, Wisconsin. I always say La Crosse because how many people know where Onalaska is? So I always say Stillwater because not everyone knows where Lake Elmo is. So there you go. So she's not my senator, but we got that story up on Truth Hurts, and a lot of people have.
But you got another blonde Karen who wants to try to take your guns as a state senator too.
Fair point.
How much does it really change?
Yeah, fair point. Exactly. I love it. Blonde Karen. That was good play on words, Jesse.
That's what it is.
That's right. What is Minnesota at right now?
I'm looking at the Secretary of State's website. It's only 1.61% reporting, but Trump is at just about 80%.
So we're going to be ahead of NBC here because, actually, NBC does have 78 votes. Okay. Well, how many total votes is that for Trump? What's the number?
Let's see. 1,426.
Yeah, NBC's lagging. We'll be at the Secretary of State's website. I've known Rob Dorr for many years. I mean, not like we're BFFs, but we share the similar photo of 1 to 78 inches of snow predicted. Probably, you know that whole thing.
I didn't know that one.
It's a funny one. I'll tell you about that off air.
Okay.
I can't imagine that being true though. That they would literally encourage her to get on that bill because they've talked out against Housley in the past, especially for that Moms Demand Action. Mm-hmm. So, did we lose Wiesenberg?
No, I'm here.
Oh, it was so quiet. Not used to being so quiet.
Well, you guys were talking about Trump and voting and stuff, so
felt left out.
I respect that, man. So I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
So Nate, what do you think is going to happen in Minnesota tonight? What do you think the final results are going to be between Trump and Nikki?
Nikki's a loser. Trump's a winner. I don't know the percentage, but I mean, Trump's going to win.
For sure.
Let me ask you this: How about in the Senate Republicans? I mean, there's no one endorsing Trump. In fact, have more legislators endorsed Nikki? I think there has been, actually.
What's that?
I think more legislators have endorsed Nikki because Julia Coleman's running the thing. Kristen Robbins.
Garofalo.
Garofalo, right? Someone sent me a tweet. That's three to two. There's more Republicans.
And then a bunch more in secret. a bunch more
Well, what do you
behind
think
the scenes.
if you had to guess the numbers right now, Wiesenberg, what would it be? Numbers of Republican senators. There's 33 of them.
Voting for
Haley,
like Trump.
Haley versus Trump. Let's go Haley versus Trump. What do you think it is?
There's 33. I don't know, 20 plus to whatever is left.
20.
We have more Trump support.
Okay, 20 Trump to 13. But see, that's going to be way different than numbers I think that we're going to see here at the poll. It shows how a step they are.
I'd say more than 20 in the Senate probably are going to support Trump. I mean, there's only 2 left. And if you're smart, you understand that Trump is the winner. That's why I endorsed him back in November, because I saw back in September he was going to be the guy. And people just don't pay attention. Let's get behind Trump. Doesn't matter what you think about him. Get behind him, and that's where we're at. So
there you go. What else is going on at the Capitol? What are we forgetting about? Do we want to talk about wolves?
yeah, I could talk about wolves.
I know you could talk about wolves.
So it's funny. So I got my bill that would have a wolf hunt today using the 10th Amendment. Minnesota would say we're going to have a wolf hunt. Now I've been working with people at the federal level, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is done dealing with wolves. They want this to go away. They just want to say, yep, you can have a season, and we're done with it. There's actually people that they were going to sue over the wolf issue, and they're dropping it. They're not even going to court because they know it's a problem, and they're done with it. So I'm pushing my bill. I tried getting some Democrats to come on my bill, and well, speaking of Grant Housechild, anyway, he's saying you should support my bill and not the DNR's and Minnesota Deer Hunters Association. So we had a conversation about that, I think, yesterday. So MDHA, they say they want to have a wolf hunt today. The DNR says they want to have a wolf hunt today. So I drop a bill saying we're going to have a wolf hunt today. And then MDHA apparently had some fireside chat last Thursday or something. And the screen was dark, and they just talked, and they're like, oh, we're pouring some bourbon, and you could hear the ice trickle. And they would talk some more, and then you could hear the ice tinkle some more. Like, Senator Wiesenberg's bill sucks because it'll never pass, and blah, 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 blah. I go, so you're going to pass a bill that will do nothing. It's just lip service. How about we pass a bill that will actually have a wolf season? Your bill says if the federal government delists the wolves, we'll have a season. So if they never delist the wolves, we will never have a season. My bill says if we delist the wolves, and session is done May 20th, so by May 20th, we could pass a bill that says we're going to start having a wolf season this fall. And that's what we need to do, because DNR said we have to
do you need to do it in the fall, at this point?
Well, yeah. I mean, they have pups in, May, so you can't shoot them when they have pups. And their fur is going to be the best in the winter.
In the winter, that's true.
Time.
That's
so,
true.
So my what I'm thinking is you'd have the season start at the beginning of rifle opener, so then you could take them either with a gun or trapping, and then let it go through probably the end of January. There's going to be some kind of limit that the DNR puts on them. So when you reach that, you stop. But that way, if you're hunting and you have a license, then you could shoot one. And or you could just trap, and then probably I think 90% of the wolves that were had, 85-90% of the wolves that were caught, I think were through trapping. It's just easier to trap them.
Yeah, they're so tough. I've spotted wolves only twice maybe in the wild, and I'm a kind of guy that goes deep in the wild, especially northern Minnesota and out west. It's like they're hard to see. They're very elusive. Trapping's a better way.
I'm pushing that. We need to have a wolf bill. There's too many wolves. The farmers are getting screwed over because the wolves are eating their cattle, and it just needs to happen. But I have another bill. I had to get some language changed. So I have a bill that says we're not going to have it. I'm outlawing elk hunting in Minnesota, and here's the reason why.
Yeah, I
We
hate
have
you.
100.
I hate you for that.
What's
but
that?
I hate you for that.
Oh, no. But you like the second part, and I know
Yeah.
you do. So I'm outlying elk hunting in Minnesota, but they left the part out where I'm outlying elk hunting in Minnesota until we have a moose season. So we've got 150 elk in Minnesota, and we shoot 15 bulls a year about, and a couple cows, and our population is stable and they're fine. We have 4,000 moose in Minnesota, but the DNR says we can't have a moose season because they might go extinct.
Yeah, it's so
So
crazy.
my bill says we cannot have an elk season in Minnesota until we have a moose season.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. I have to share this with you guys that my dream is to hunt moose in the boundary waters. It used to be a lifetime tag, so it was a one-time shot. But it's like, how do we not have a moose season just by sheer numbers? North Dakota's got 500 moose, and they shoot, was it half of them or
So North
40%,
Dakota has
something like that?
North Dakota has 500 moose. Last year they gave 247 permits. No,
it's like crazy.
but they're so not every permit holder gets to shoot a moose. They do have a cap, but they do sell half the population for licenses, right? So,
Which-
but yeah, so they
which
have 500
hunters-
moose.
Which hunters like, because we'll support those efforts all day long, you know?
Exactly. So we could do that in Minnesota. We have
Right.
4,000 moose, and when you shoot bulls, it doesn't cut down the population at all because you can have one bull breed a whole bunch of cows. So you don't have a cow season. You can shoot a bull. It hurts nothing. So we could shoot, let's say, 100 bull cows in Minnesota. It would do nothing. People would be happy. We're making money for the state, and the population's not going to go anywhere. The DNR has to quit lying to people and say, well, yeah, we have this study that we quit doing because we found out the wolves are killing the calves.
Right.
So then we quit studying wolves or moose.
Yeah, and that's the problem is they don't, I've seen the official reason that the moose population was in danger, and it's stabilized, okay? It's around that 4,000, which is, by the way, fourth most populated state for
Yep.
moose. I think Alaska, obviously, number one, Maine, and then probably, Washington State or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere out west.
Yeah. And then it's us. So it's like, we can hunt moose, right? But they say
Yep.
it's climate change. They love that narrative. It's climate change. There's also a brain worm, which I think is a thing. But boy, I think.
No, that's what the Democrats have. But yeah.
Yeah. So is Minnesota still not called yet?
AP has called Minnesota.
AP called Minnesota. That's the
Okay.
official. NBC hasn't called it. Minnesota is
And,
right now at 7%. At least, what's it say on the Secretary of State's website?
Right. Well, at least on the Secretary of State's website, it says about 5.5%. And what's amazing about it right now, Joe Biden is under 70%. Uncommitted has 18% of the vote
18?
in the Democratic primary, and then Dean Phillips has 9.3%.
Now, I would
so
think
this
that
is Dean's best state, and this is Uncommitted's best state so far, if these results keep up.
Yeah, but see, my thinking is that came from the Twin Cities area. Like, that
Maybe.
was the first reporting, Minneapolis. And so you got the higher propensity of the uncommitteds. So I would say that doesn't stabilize all night.
Mm-hmm.
But that is interesting. That's a big story. That's why I don't think NBC wants to show the results of the Democrat primary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Nate, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at the last
Sounds
moment.
good.
We'll have you in the
Yep.
studio sometime soon.
Sounds good.
America.
Talk to you later.
America.
America. So, Jake,
Yeah,
with
what's up?
5% reporting, Cenk Uygur has 27 votes already in Minnesota.
27 with 5%. So what does that make it? So let's quick
I know, I
math.
was
20.
thinking about that. What do you got to multiply that
five-
by?
Well, it'd be
by
540.
20.
By 20. So
Right, so
540.
25 by 20.
No, it's basically 30 by 20, so 600. So you did have about
540.
600. What's that?
540.
Yeah, to be precise. You good with math?
I'm
Or did you
okay.
get a calculator? You got a damn calculator in. Oh, yeah, right. A hair-covered computer? Hair-covered calculator? Sure, whatever. Tucker says, let's go Uncommitted!
Yep. No, it should be interesting, and yeah, that's the thing. It's nice to see that all these Democrats have finally stepped up to the plate. Are willing to, because that's the thing. This uncommitted movement. I think a lot of Democrats don't pay attention. I mean, a lot of Republicans don't either. I mean, that's just the common voter. But I think a lot of the Democrats, they were like, what's this uncommitted thing about? So the more media attention it's getting, the better and better it is. And, let's see. Dawson, if you want to click on line 15, I put an interesting link in there, something for us to check out. So go ahead and click on that when you got a moment. And because what this is going to show is all of the Minnesota Democrats who have voted or who have endorsed for Uncommitted. So scroll down just a little bit there, Dawson. As you can see, there's all those
this is cool.
people who endorsed Joe Biden, but this is for the Uncommitted.
Hold on, let's go back up real quick.
Yeah, we can look at the Biden endorsements.
These are the, no big surprise, the two senators, the lieutenant governor. By the way, did you know she's Indian? Oh, no, that's Tina Smith. Says former lieutenant governor. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I always like to say the current, current governor, lieutenant governor, likes to let you know she's Indian. U.S. Representatives Angie Craig, Ilhan Omar, and Tim Walz, the governor. Oh, so our lieutenant governor hasn't.
I guess maybe she hasn't publicly. I'm sure that Peggy Flanagan is supporting Biden, though. I mean, I'd be shocked if she wasn't.
Let's keep scrolling and see what it is.
No, she's not listed on that other thing.
Ken Martin, the tool that runs the DFL. All right, let's see who's for
Which, I mean, how crazy is that a party chair is making an endorsement before before there's an endorsement by the party? I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It shows that, that the Democratic Party is just completely rank and file, whatever, just pushing up Dementia Joe. It's embarrassing, but this is very interesting because you look at Uncommitted and you see that 7 different legislators within the state of Minnesota, current legislators, have made the move to endorse Uncommitted. So that shows that there's a decent amount of people who are, with it on this cause. The majority of it is coming from the Gaza, Israel war. So a lot of the Democrats that are voting Uncommitted, it's for that reason. Not all of them.
That's why I don't support Joe Biden.
That's one of the things, right? Exactly. But so at least they're anti-war, at least in one occasion.
Yeah.
But so I think some of these names on there are interesting for state senators Omar Fateh and Jen McEwen. And is Jen McEwen pushing that paint bill? Is she the one?
Yeah, she's on all the bad bills, like the gun control bills.
She is no good. And And I look at her, I look at Omar Fateh. I like that they're both, at least stepping out of line on this. They're, maybe it's out of principle. Maybe it's just to, placate to their base, make them think that, hey, look, I'm fighting, I'm moving the Democratic Party left. Who knows exactly. But then we got Aisha Gomez, Hodan Hassan, Samantha Sensor Mira, Andy Smith, Small Business Smith, and Jay Zhang. And then, obviously there's some other listed city councilmen and everything, either from Minneapolis or St. Paul. And then some different organizations and groups, the Council on American Islamic Relations in Minnesota.
We should have had Wiesenberg say he's on the list of uncommitted in the Democrat primary.
Yeah, maybe.
He made it?
He's already endorsed Trump, though. So
I know, but that's the Republican
it'd
primary.
Be a co-endorsement.
The Democrat primary, he's for uncommitted.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure maybe we could still do it. But, and then obviously Take Action Minnesota, Jewish Voices for Peace Action, which, I don't know if that's an actual legitimate group or not. I hear things back and forth on that, whether it's whether they're for real, So I don't know exactly, but it is interesting to show that there are that many Democrats within the state of Minnesota who are, especially sitting legislators. They know that there's a lot of risk that goes along with this. I almost wish that, it's like, why don't you people have your own positive message? Why don't you have your own candidate? Why are you so afraid, that you're just going to vote uncommitted and, we're going to try to get Dementia Joe to come our way. Joe Biden don't know what's going on. Right. He's not going to come your way for a ceasefire. No, I mean, he doesn't know what's going on. So, for them to be thinking that, it just, maybe it's just a different strategic mindset, but I appreciate that they're at least voting uncommitted, even though I think that they could take it a whole lot further. And, why not run your own candidate if you want a ceasefire? Because Joe Biden's not going to do it based on this little bit of pressure. That's why Kamala Harris goes out there.
But he kind of
does
is
the fake
their
ceasefire.
Way.
It's all fake.
You think it's fake?
I think the majority of it's all fake. I think the machine runs no matter who's no matter who's in charge. And Joe Biden, it's all just talking points. Kamala Harris, think about it. She didn't call for a ceasefire until these uncommitted votes started coming in. And why was the reason for the uncommitted? Almost all of it because of the Israel war. So it shows that the Democrats are, they're looking at the polls. They're saying, we got to win these people back over. Let's pretend to want a ceasefire. But, Netanyahu, it's almost not in Biden's interest for the war to continue to keep going anyway. So Netanyahu might be seeing this as I can kick Joe Biden out of here. He might be seeing in that light. He might be saying, I can get Joe Biden out of here just by continuing the war, because the Jews hate Joe Biden because they say he's not going far enough. The Muslims hate Joe Biden because they say that he's causing a genocide on their people. There is no winning situation for this. And I mean, there might be a scenario if Joe Biden actually negotiated an end to the war and fought for peace in the Middle East and actually got it done and caused a two-state solution that everybody was happy with, he'd be a miracle worker, because nobody in history has ever been able to do that. But let's say that's the case. Then he could maybe unify and get the Democrats to rally behind him again. But I mean, like I said, it's so impossible that there's almost no chance of him being able to bring back the coalition he had.
He is losing everything right now. And Dean Phillips is going to be proven so correct on this. It's so fascinating to me. So Biden is losing probably the biggest category that's troublesome for him is non-white voters. And it's like Latinos, big time loss. Even black vote is going down significantly for Biden. There was a recent poll, I can't remember who it was, NBC or something like that. When adding RFK Jr., Trump was up by like 8 points on Biden. Mm-hmm. It seems, and this was our prediction, I think you made this prediction with me, Jesse, that I think RFK was going to take more from the Biden
I
side.
Disagree.
Okay, so we didn't agree on that.
No.
That's my contention.
That was the first, when RFK first started inkling that he would go independent, that was the narrative that he would take away from Trump. But
yes,
the polling
it doesn't
now suggests otherwise.
Doesn't seem like that now. One
No,
poll.
That's what the media wants us to think. The media wants us to think that Joe Biden, or excuse me, that's what the.
Hold on. If that's what the media wants us to think, then they'd give him the time of day. But they're not giving RFK the time of day.
No, they're trying to convince people that, it's going to be split evenly. It's going to be some Joe Biden people. It's all going to be Trump people. It's all going to be people.
Then why wouldn't they give more airtime to RFK using that logic?
No, that's what they do. Think about it, the only time he's on is to smear him. The only time is you're anti-vax. You're anti-Semitic. They're always just throwing these conspiracy attacks.
RFK is going to take more from Trump, and the media knows that.
Absolutely.
Then they would want to give him all the airtime in the world.
Look, they're going to give him this airtime, the negative airtime, because us Trump people look at it and we go, that's fake news. Why are they lying about him? They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to push right-wingers into supporting RFK. They're trying to, that's why they do the only small bits of negative coverage.
You're saying
it's so that we go on the defense of him. And so we say, no, he's not wrong about the vaccine, even though what we should really be saying is, forget about him. Let's focus on Trump.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen or heard of any RFK news since his Super Bowl commercial.
Essentially not. I mean,
there's the word out there that he's going to pick his vice president pretty soon. So we'll see who he ends up picking. If
it's like a
that's
mouse
the case.
fart, though, these days.
Yeah.
But I don't watch the corporate mainstream media, so I guess I wouldn't know. But I don't seem to think he's getting reported on. So I don't know. You seem like the guy that would watch it more. Governments, how many chances must we give them? Time to realize the government is the enemy within. Smash Live says. That seems like a new person. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I've heard there will probably be bipartisan support for the Defend the Guard bill. I've heard that too.
Yeah, and there was a couple of other comments in here. H. Jasinski says the first step to communism/socialism is to disarm the citizen. Good point. Mean Jeans had said, let's see here. Jesus loves you. Good night. And there was a whole lot more to that, but thank you, Mean Jeans.
Oh, Cenk Uger's got 97 votes. I'm off. I was way off.
Yeah.
97 votes.
Minnesota's a big state. There's going to be some people that, the Young Turks, for whatever reason, they do have a decent amount of an audience. And, every once in a while, when you watch some of their clips, the majority of it's trash. But every once in a while, you go, Cenk's kind of making sense on this one small issue or something like that. Yeah. So, he has a big audience. He's been around for a long time. And so...
But he's getting some votes. Literally losing to Jason Palmer. Do you know who Jason Palmer is?
I do know who Jason Palmer is. And yeah, it's another, he's one of those squirrely, people who, he's a nobody. He's just a random guy that's running for president.
He's beating Cenk Uger
I know,
in Minnesota.
That's pretty embarrassing for him because...
Marion Williamson, 444.
Jason Palmer, he's just the biggest dweeb ever. He's a complete non-factor. And
by the way, Uncommitted beating Dean Phillips is a storyline too.
Definitely.
How long does Dean Phillips take? See, Dean
Oh,
Phillips.
I bet Dean Phillips is done tomorrow.
Yeah, but
Dean
see-
Phillips is dropping out tomorrow.
Dean Phillips will go down in history as a guy they should have been listening to this whole time. Like, I truly believe he's a party man, and he's like, guys, what are we doing here? We're gonna lose the presidency to Donald Trump if we keep pretending Biden's okay. And he can't get any traction, and they're not listening to him. But once again, I think their plan is to just
When we talk about the end game for Haley, and we have a lot of what is Phillips' end game in this whole deal?
I don't know. I mean, maybe this is naive, and I shouldn't be this way, but I literally think he's kind of like being honest on this point. Like, I really want the Democrats to stop Donald Trump, and I'm sounding the alarms. I could see the same. I would easily be that person on the right if the Republican candidate was running in such a, well, he doesn't say Biden's record's bad, which you got to be ignorant to say Biden's record's not bad. It's abysmal, right? But if the guy was so bad that he was just going to lose it. I mean, all the polls right now recently, like, well, here's the best way to put it. Donald Trump's got 4 indictments, 91 charges. He's been found liable for sexual assault. Then he was found liable for slander. He's been found liable for whatever it is and all the business dealings. And so basically, was it fraudulently over-reporting values?
The 400
whatever
million
the hell
or-
it is.
yeah.
To the tune of 494 million, can't do business in New York. And he keeps climbing in the polls. I mean, like, just that alone, it's like, hello, Democrats, maybe you don't want that guy anymore. Like, shouldn't you be killing it? But I also think that when people say the voting record or the record of Biden's so great, it's like, I think kind of people know the economy's not as great as you make it sound that way. You say unemployment's low. Well, yeah, people got to work a second job because of inflation. So I don't think people buy it. They talk about the Inflation Reduction Act. And then in the same breath, they say, and we're making these sustainable carbon-free investments. It's like, wait, you're spending more money? That's the Inflation Reduction Act? I just think sometimes people wake up to this bullshit. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm
happening
seeing,
more and more.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot says if Dean drops out, does he keep his seat and Morrison has to cry and stay in the Senate? That's an interesting point. I don't
That'd be
get
funny.
the impression that Dean Phillips would re-enter his U.S. Congress seat, and also he might have a tough time in that kind of an endorsement or a primary. Would the Democrats show mercy on him for challenging Biden? Maybe, maybe not. You know, it's a
I don't
tough
see
call.
him doing it. I mean, why you wouldn't have done all that if you're just going to run for CD3 again?
I see him running for governor
Yeah.
think so.
in 2 years.
Does Walz step down? I mean, like, Walz could keep running. That's a scary thing.
Now that would be an interesting primary.
Jake-
Walz versus Phillips. Holy cow.
Cenk Uygur still hasn't broke 100. He's at 99 right now. Palmer's at 121. But Uncommitted is hovering at 16%. We're not going to stick around for all these results. We're going to be off air by 9 o'clock, I think. But you guys could tune in. Of course, we're not going to get to Alaska, right? Isn't Alaska a caucus, though, Jesse, or is it a
No,
primary?
I think they have a primary. Yeah, maybe they have a caucus on some other things, but and you know I should look into Alaska actually.
Oh, of course
because,
it's a primary.
You know, but they have
know.
ranked choice voting now.
Right.
But I'm not sure if that. I doubt that it's going to have any impact on the presidential
Right.
primary. It's usually just a statewide thing. But let's see here.
What we won't get to tonight is California, obviously far west coast. Vermont is still actually neck and neck Trump. It's 68% in. So Vermont's the thing to look at. So with 68% in, Trump is leading by a point. Actually just under a point, 0.9%.
Yeah.
So Utah, Alaska, and California we won't get tonight. Colorado's already been called for Trump. Big victory. By the way, another interesting thing, Trump endorsed Boebert.
I did see that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just because she's been so loyal to him throughout the years. But I mean, she is in a tough spot. You know, where she's in a race with. I watched one of the debates where she's on stage with like 9 other people, and like they all have their own complaints about her, and it's one of those things that I think she almost has a chance of winning it. And we'll see what ends up coming to that. But I mean, I'm more on the Marjorie Taylor
not know
Greene
who
side of that
Boebert
stuff.
is?
So
Well, I know who Boebert is,
Oh,
and
okay.
I know she's
Gives
moved
good-
across town, but she's got the
She gives good handies and
cinema. Yeah. But I know I read her child or her adult son's been in trouble too, and it's got to be tough and distracting. So
I'm just sick of people like her. I just like the Barbie doll congresswoman.
Carpet bags across town for a better
yeah.
district.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, what a disgrace that thing was with her fooling around at that. Was that the
movie
Wicked
theater
or whatever?
No, what was it? Beetlejuice,
it
right?
Beetlejuice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
sounds
so.
right.
No, and that's the thing. Lauren Boebert, she's obviously not like the brightest. There's obviously like more intelligent people out there than Lauren Boebert. I wish that there was someone a little bit more savvy, a little bit more politically tactful, who, because it sounds like she's kind of getting into catfights with all these other congresswomen, and it's like, just. If you got a bill, you don't need to steal it from someone else. It sounds like Lauren Boebert's kind of a bill thief. She steals people's ideas and tries to introduce it right ahead of them on the floor. So people just don't like that. She's not exactly making friends for herself. I think Lauren Boebert, her time in Congress may be done. Hopefully, if they do end up replacing her, they put someone else that's MAGA in there. There's definitely a few of the people that are running against her that are complete rhinos who would do no good at all. So the best option may just be to stick with Boebert one more time. So
she was against
we'll
Kevin McCarthy, so she's not all bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. She's taken a couple of good votes that, she stood on some principles there, so that's all good to see. And yeah, it looks like North Carolina governor, you might have already said it, but it looks like it's called for Mark Robinson. So that guy's a very cool guy. If people don't remember the big black guy who, stood up for gun rights and other things, just that one little speech that he gave in front of a city council or school board, whatever it was, it went viral, and that's what made him where he is today. And it's cool to see that something like that, just a regular guy can make it happen. And he's become a sensation. He's going to become the next governor of North Carolina, and we'll see what things come from him after that.
What are you thinking for California Senate? Is Adam Schiff gonna?
Yeah, Adam Schiff just started running commercials going after the Republican, but really it was all a strategy to get all the Republicans to vote for Steve Garvey, that former MLB baseball player. So he's basically consolidating the Republicans around him, so that Schiff is going to advance the runoff with him. California has a jungle primary, all the candidates on one primary ballot. It's not a Republican primary, then a Democrat primary. It's all the candidates listed out, and the top two move on. So it is probably going to be Adam Schiff and this Republican. I would almost rather see, one of these other Democrats in there instead of Schiff, even though they might be to his left. Are they to his left if he's even more establishment and he's even more crony and he's even more, pro-war and all this kind of stuff? I look at the issues and I go, I almost, I don't know. We'll see what California ends up doing. I can't stand him though. So I would really love to see anybody, even that fat bitch Katie Porter. I'd rather see her than Adam Schiff. So we'll see what comes out of it. Katie Porter and her, whiteboard and all that crap. She's terrible, but of the options, what do you do? What do you do?
Well, yeah, get closer to 9:00 and the real Jesse stands up. Huh?
I was trying to think of a nice way to say it, but it just kind of came out.
Yeah, that was probably the nice way of saying it. Oh man, Minnesota, it's just crawling along. But once again, they've called it for Joe Biden in Minnesota. They called it for Donald Trump in Minnesota. The count right now is Trump 70, Nikki Haley 29%. So it's and that's with 3% reporting. You do have Ramaswamy, DeSantis, and Chris Christie with 1%. I think people have to understand that there were a bunch more people on the ballot. So in this case, we had 5 on the Republican side. The Democrats have a ton. Wasn't there a legal pot thing going on?
Yeah, there's the legal marijuana now party. I think I put this Minnesota link in the sheet here. Dawson, if you want to go on to line 8, go ahead and click that link there, because this is specifically from the Minnesota Secretary of State's website showing the presidential primary results. So go ahead and scroll down there, Dawson, and you're probably going to want to take me off the screen so that we can see what's going on there, because, yep, the Legal Marijuana Now party is having a presidential primary. Right now we got Crystal Gable in the lead, and you guys might know Crystal Gable as the lady who said, "I don't want to be on the ballot." The Legal Marijuana Now party put me on the ballot, and I don't want to be there. I actually know that there's another candidate that's listed on there who also doesn't want to be on the ballot. But, so as of right now, Crystal Gable, who doesn't want to be on the ballot, who doesn't want to be president, who doesn't want to be the nominee, is leading. So obviously the trolls have taken effect in Minnesota, and it looks like
the trolls are bigger than the Vermin Supreme vote.
I guess so. What
the
a
Vermin
shame.
Supreme vote's not the trolls, just so people understand.
I guess so, yeah. And that's the thing. We're only 17.4% of the way in. Maybe things can still shift in that race.
Wait, that's what it says? Precincts reporting right now?
Yeah, go ahead and scroll up to the top there, Dawson.
Was it 17%? It was bigger than I
Yep, 17.41%, so 714 out of 4,100
so
precincts.
Trump's at 70% or 69%.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And go ahead and scroll down to the Democrat results. We can also check those out real quick. So, yep, Biden at 72%, Uncommitted at 15%, and Dean Phillips still at 9%. And of course, our favorite Cenk Uygur at 135 votes. So, big deal over there.
Yeah, favorite. Now, go back. So, Biden's got 35,000 votes. How much does Trump have?
64,000.
So how do we read that right now?
I mean, that shows that the Republican turnout is way bigger than the Democrat turnout.
But how do we read this? Why would the Well, first of all, that kind of goes against my theory that uncommitteds were all Minneapolis because there's more Republican votes.
Only
right
20% is reporting for the Democrats right now, and it's 44%.
Okay. Well, okay. But why would I'm confused why they would be different, Democrats versus Republican.
I had noticed that
they're not reporting at the same rate.
Right, exactly. I had seen some of the counties were reporting their Republican results first. Okay. So I don't know. It's these individual counties that are responsible for that.
Wait. Is that precincts? I don't think that's precincts in the top left. I can't see. It's kind of cut off.
Yeah, no, it is. It's precincts reporting in state.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I suppose there's 41 precincts. Okay. So if Donald Trump has that much more numbers, I'm just trying to think. How do you read that?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously shows the Republican base is a lot more enthused. It shows that the Democrats aren't turning out in as big of numbers.
I mean, I didn't give a shit about voting today.
But the Democrats gave even less of one, because they're like, Joe Biden's going to be the nominee. I don't know what's going on. They don't know who's running against him.
Uncommitted.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that Dean Phillips.
But hold on, isn't that maybe also? I'm maybe reading into this too much, but maybe there's not going to be that energy in November for Joe Biden either.
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so because you got to. It's pretty obvious that people are not as excited about him now than they were in 2020 because it's not even that they were excited about him in 2020. It was just they were excited to take Trump out. That was their big thing. That was what they were all excited about. Now, there's just not that same momentum and there's not that same energy. And because the Democrats and the media have pushed, hoax after hoax after hoax, witch hunt after witch hunt, people are just, petered out on it. They're worn out. They can't be outraged by every little thing anymore. And so a lot of them are just tuning out and saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I don't see anyone representing me.
I think Jesse's a prime example, too, that Trump has a committed base, and they're going to turn out for him.
That's right.
By the way, I just looking at a report. Louisiana became nation's 28th state with constitutional carry law in the books. There you go. Isn't that great?
There you go.
And then meanwhile, we have Republicans here get on gun control bills and get off them. That's funny. I can't wait to see the Thursday she gets off of that bill.
It was great breaking news, wasn't it?
That was right here. Truth Hurts News, breaking news. Before you see it. Dr. S.W. Biden is so out of it mentally, he makes the perfect puppet for the masters pulling the strings. That's the argument, is if they could pull off a victory with Biden, and I don't think they can, they would keep him because isn't it the perfect candidate? There you go. Think about that. We're going to end the show here. It's 9 o'clock. Trump, Vermont's not called yet.
Yeah.
So Haley's got a chance to win something other than the swamp. She literally won the swamp, Washington, D.C.'s primary. So maybe she wins Vermont. And I'm not going to hate on Vermont. It's a great state, okay? Maybe they've chosen the wrong senator over time, but it's a good state.
Yeah, it's a socialist state. But it is a cool landscape state.
Good landscape,
there's lots of great farmers and lots of great land. And, it is a great state. And also, they have the best debates in the country. You know, I've watched thousands of debates in my time, and nobody comes close to the Vermont Public Access Television because you know, they invite all the candidates. They invite all these
No
screwballs
time for
up there.
ladies, by the way.
You know, I'm telling you,
Debates need to be watched.
there's a lot of good debates to be out there. And, you know, they brought a 14-year-old on there one time. They were like, let's bring this 14-year-old on to debate these people for governor. You know, there's just so much good stuff. You know, there was one debate where they brought this communist on stage who was saying that, like, Bernie's not a real socialist. And, you know, and then he was saying, Bernie's a war criminal. And it's like, this is crazy. Someone to the left of Bernie saying Bernie's not a good enough communist. That's a debate you got to watch.
That's true. Bernie owns too many houses, right? Doesn't make sense.
That's what they say.
Give Warren Wessel a call if you're looking for a home, want to buy or sell a home. Give Warren Wessel a call at 612-419-7453. Episode's also brought to you by Alpine Cabinetry in East St. Cloud. We didn't actually have a lot of Rumble rants. We had one. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Two. I think we had one.
One or two, yeah.
Oh, slow night for us, huh? But we didn't.
It's because I'm here.
Yes, it's the Brad Ganser effect. No one wants to open up their pocketbook anymore. But the streak continues. That's the important part. I think it was Napkin Nate, right? I think that was right.
Yep. Yeah, it was
thanks for
Napkin Nate.
that. We appreciate everyone in the comment section. You guys fuel the show. Go to truthhurtsnews.com. Get the most cutting news in Minnesota. You heard it tonight. Karin Housley getting off the Senate gun control bill. So there you go. Breaking news. We'll see. See if it's true. Make sure you like this and subscribe. Go to our new YouTube channel. Subscribe. What am I forgetting?
Locals.
Mm-hmm. I got a meeting with locals tomorrow to learn more about it. So I'm a little fearful. I don't understand that. I know you noticed you followed right away.
I did.
We're slow growth because I don't even know how the hell to use it. I'm posting.
I think I was the first.
I think you were. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back Thursday at 1:00. Take care.